this guy dressing up in a full-blown tailored SS uniform, Nazi uniform. Pretty high quality by the looks of it. Really got a lot of the details correct and stuff. And he goes to this bar, the Drippler. He goes to this bar and people freak out and there's a physical confrontation. He ends up getting arrested. Spinach Bra had a really viral tweet here, which this guy I'm pretty sure is a Groyper. I'm pretty sure this guy is like basically a Groyper account. I should know because I'm mutuals, but I mean, he's at least adjacent to that. Zoomers are dressing up as Nazis for Halloween and beating up women in self-defense. This got 25 million impressions. Wasn't the whole point of Halloween to dress up in costumes and role play? Why is everyone pressed? He says aura, fairly accurate looking costume. Doesn't look like a cheap, Spirit Halloween type of costume. Shoe on Head says, I don't know what they're so mad about. I think it's a great Will Stancil costume. White boy got a little motion. Right, so everybody was kind of having fun with this at first, and then Nick is like, no, that's cringe. That's cringe. This is the anonymous tweet about it. This one has 7 million views. He says, a group of U.S. women kicked out a Nazi while a group of U.S. men stood around doing nothing. People around the world are noticing that it is women who are leading the fight against fascists in the U.S., whether it is Nazis or ICE. Yeah, he's not wrong. So we do notice a lot of women at these ICE protests. But anyway, I want to watch the video here because this guy was arrested and charged with assault. A lot of people are saying it's self-defense. He's holding a beer stein. You can see down here, he's holding a German beer stein. And apparently he smashed the girl in the face with the stein, breaking her nose, and she had to get stitches. So it was a fairly significant act of violence, apparently, that happened.
Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out!
Right, so right there, she put hands on him and pushed him. Now that technically is assault right there. Although it's a little bit of a gray area because he's standing on the threshold of this bar and they're trying to kick him out. Now, does she have the right to do that? Is she an employee? Did the establishment kick him out? This is what I mean by gray area. We don't know all the details. Obviously, if you're just a civilian, you can't kick another civilian out of a public. Just analyzing the video here, that's thing one, is he's already been assaulted right off the start of the video here.
Don't touch him. Don't touch him, bro.
And the guy's saying, don't touch him. Because the guy knows, like, you could get arrested for that territory. So whoever's filming, he's like, don't touch him, because that's assault. You can't put your hands on people. Even the establishment cannot bouncers can definitely put their hands on you if you refuse to leave. No bouncers ever getting arrested for that unless they go way over the line.
Fuck you! What the fuck?
He's in my... Yo! Are you in my accounting class? Yeah! What up, bro? What's good, bro? How are you? Look at this guy.
See, the guys all seem to think it's mostly funny and kind of like astonished at the detailing of the costume, right? It's almost like that's really the stories. Like, you're like, dude, how did you get such a good looking SS uniform? Like, bro, who's your tailor?
This is terrible.
Now, I'll note too here, this fat person who's just off to the left in the camera is wearing what appears to be a birthday party hat with her suspenders, them suspenders. The reason I'm pointing that out is because part of the context of this is around Halloween, and this is a Halloween costume, people are saying, but nobody else seems to be in a costume. First of all, was this a Halloween costume party at the bar that nobody else dressed up for? Or what? Also, it's not Halloween weekend, bro. It's the weekend before Halloween weekend. Halloween lands on Friday this year, which means Halloween and Halloween weekend. So if you want to dress up as a Nazi for Halloween, you should do it on Halloween. Don't do it the weekend before. There's a thing with like holiday creep. You know what I mean? Where the window for holidays is getting bigger and bigger. Has anybody else noticed this? November 1st, people start putting up Christmas decorations now. You know what I mean? And playing Christmas music on the radio and in the stores and shit like that. It's not Halloween all fucking month. Why are you going out in a costume? But having said that, you know, I would defend a guy's right to dress up as a Nazi any day. Any day. And there's lots of reasons you might do it. You might do it just for funny content to record people's reactions. People make content like that all the time where they go out dressed provocatively in some way or acting provocatively, and they're doing it to like get reactions. Look, man, this is America. If you want to put on an SS uniform and go out in public, you can do that. People can like freak out and yell at you if they want to. If they want to act histrionic about it, they can do that, but they don't get to touch you. Okay, people might try to get you fired from your job. Of course, this is not, I wouldn't, you know, there's reasons not to do it. Obviously, as an American, you can do that if you want to. And as far right Americans, we should obviously, I think, defend people's right to do that and support it, because this is all moving the Overton window. Like I was talking about with the Will Stancil stuff, it's making the histrionic liberal woman screaming and freaking out about your clothes, making her the object of scorn and ridicule. Right? It's flipping that whole thing around. When you join in and you start ridiculing the guy and saying he's cringe, he's a loser, you're adopting their framing. You're pushing the Overton window back in their direction. Far right fascist aesthetics is what we want to be acceptable. We want offensive racist humor to be acceptable. So the same thing would go for putting on blackface, which is like a tried and true Halloween tradition for white people. You know what I mean? If a guy dresses up in blackface and goes out for Halloween and people are freaking out about that, it's our job to support that guy and be like, get a grip. The people freaking out are the ones who are crazy. They're the ones who we're supposed to be like, hey, get a fucking grip. Why are you freaking out?
Terrible.
Now look at this. This guy punches a guy. So that's like assault number 3 against this guy. Note, nobody else has been arrested in this. Only the guy dressed up like Goebbels here. This guy punches him in the shoulder, and look at the way he's screaming. What a loser. You want to talk about cringe? What's your problem? Like literal soy jack Reddit, the angry Reddit guy. Voice cracking.
Is this serious?
Oh my God!
No, I have no idea. We're seeing on the second.
Oh, okay. So here's the. So what happened here? Here's the assault.
We're seeing on the second.
Oh, she grabbed for the armband and was trying to rip it off, and he decks her. So she's holding his arm. It almost looks like she did rip the armband off. It's really happens quickly. The video ends quickly. But, you know, okay, look, man, probably shouldn't have smashed her in the face with the Stein if you could help it. It's so, the thing happens so quick, it's hard to tell exactly what was going on. Regardless, I think we should stick up for this guy. You have the right to do this, and we should defend this guy for wanting to do this. And also, he was put in a self-defense situation. We need to defend him on the legal basis, because this is not the first time, and it won't be the last time that one of our guys is arrested and charged for self-defense because they are racist. Look, man, what was that guy's name? Ian Cranston. I did a whole video about him. Do you remember this guy? He was in a bar and a black guy was hitting on his girlfriend. Then they got into a scuffle where punches were exchanged. They were never allowed to show the camera, the surveillance footage from the bar. They weren't allowed to. They weren't allowed to show the surveillance footage. But this guy shot the black guy. The black guy died, and he's rotting in jail right now, this guy, because it was self-defense. But the activist got in and played it up as like a racist thing. Like he shot the black guy for no reason. Same with the McMichaels. Lots of people who have acted in self-defense have been put in jail because there's like a sort of a racial element to it, or you've been labeled as a racist in the media. And that's what's happening to this guy. And so we should absolutely support this guy's right to defend himself when he's getting attacked by an angry mob of shrieking yentas or whatever, liberals, whatever they are. Athens man dressed as Nazi assaults woman at downtown Athens bar. A man dressed in a Nazi uniform was arrested early Friday morning after getting into an altercation with several people outside a downtown Athens bar, smashing a young woman's face with a glass beer stein. Videos posted to Reddit and other social media sites, some of which were later removed by moderators, showed the confrontation where several people, including women, accosted the Nazi cosplayer, and he responded by swinging a glass mug into one of the women's faces. Photos showed what appeared to be the same man being arrested outside of the West Washington Street parking deck. So here he is getting arrested. Atlanta News First identified the man as Kenneth Leland Morgan, booked on charges of simple battery and aggravated assault, which is, this one's a felony. Classic City News reported that Morgan was dressed as a member of the Gestapo. He's in jail without bond. The man is not a student, not affiliated with the university. The victim, UGA student Grace Lang, told the Red and Black that she was at Cutter's Pub with a Jewish friend when the man in the Nazi uniform tried to enter the bar, and that she tried to rip off his swastika armband. Right. So the woman, this is the woman who he smashed in the face, Grace Lang, admits that she was trying to rip off his swastika armband. Hey, I'm sorry, but you can't do that. This is America. You're actually the aggressor, right? As Revolt accurately points out. You are the aggressor, and he was defending himself and his property. You don't get to just like rip off people's clothes because you don't like it. This is America. She has suffered a broken nose, black eye, and cuts to her face and had to go to the emergency room. So here's her interview in the Red and Black. An unacceptable display of hate. Woman assaulted after confronting man in Nazi costume. What began as an ordinary Thursday night in downtown Athens took a disturbing turn when a man dressed in a Nazi uniform with a red swastika armband assaulted a woman outside Cutter's Pub. All of the coverage everywhere about this is he assaulted her. A video capturing the incident shows the woman argue with the man, push him back, and grab for his armband. So assault. So assault. It then shows the man swing a glass pitcher at the woman, striking her in the face and knocking her to the ground. Grace Lang, the victim of the assault and the fifth-year photography and geology major at the University of Georgia, said she was participating in a bar crawl event for a student-run magazine. I had been at Cutter's for around 20 minutes. After grabbing one beer, I sat outside with friends for 10 minutes before my friend, who is Jewish, noticed the man in a full Nazi uniform, complete with red armband with the swastika. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know they're not playing, when they got the full red swastika armband. They get into a yelling match, and it is just him and two women smaller than him. I get up and go to get in between them and use my body as a blockade to keep him from coming in. I reach to rip off the armband, as that is the identifying factor that changed it from a soldier costume to an unacceptable display of hate. So, confession there. A confession of her crime, that she tried to destroy this guy's property. She tried to rip his clothes off of him because she didn't like him. This is like a woman playing lawyer who has no fucking concept of the law. I tried to rip the armband, as that is the identifying factor that changed it from a soldier costume to an unacceptable, right? So it's like, look, if he wasn't wearing the swastika armband, I wouldn't have had the right to assault him. But because because it did, that's what I went, like, you are an idiot. That's not at all how the law works. You sound like you're trying to make a legal argument. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Lang said the confrontation escalated quickly after she intervened. We struggled for a couple of seconds, but he immediately swings a large glass pitcher into the left side of my face. I think he maybe should have tried to handle it a little less violently. But again, it's hard to judge because these things happen so fast. And when you're in the moment and you're surrounded by a mob, you don't have a lot of time to think through all your options. And it does seem like his other arm was locked up with her reaching for it, like they were holding on to each other with that arm. So he only has one free hand and it's holding the pitcher, and he could like drop that and break it. It's like, you know, I kind of get it. Lang said the altercation began because the man's apparent attempt to provoke outrage. His blatant attempt to instill fear and create outrage in the community was what sparked the issue. I grabbed the armband, not him. Same, you know, it's the same thing. Remember, we watched a video like a few months ago, that college professor who got arrested for knocking the guy's hat off. Same thing. If a guy's wearing a MAGA hat and you just flip it off of him like that, guess what? You committed assault. You assaulted that person. I grabbed the armband, not him, to remove a hate symbol. No such thing. Hate symbol, not a legal construct. The bar we were at doesn't even have glass pitchers, and I have no clue where he brought it from. Part of the costume, obviously. I didn't see it in his hand, but he was clearly ready to use it against anyone. I mean, against anyone who assaulted him, maybe. He didn't go out and just smash it into a random person's face. He smashed it into the person who was trying to rip his clothes off. Lang said the assault left her with a broken nose and several other injuries. My nose was broken by the pitcher, and I had to get 4 stitches on my bridge when I went to the emergency room, and it's difficult to breathe right through right now. I have a large welt on my left cheek, and my eye is black and swollen shut, and my neck and head have ached since. Lang said the man was arrested while she was still outside the bar waiting for emergency services to arrive. He ran, but was apprehended shortly after, still wearing the full outfit, but lost his hat. That's a bummer. So that's what happened. Now, again, we should, in my opinion, close ranks around this guy and defend him and we should demand that that woman and everybody who assaulted that guy is arrested. We should demand that the law is applied evenly and that the law is not used as a cudgel against people who you perceive as having the wrong opinions. We all have video of these people assaulting that guy, putting their hands on him while screaming in his face. She admits it in the interview that she was trying to rip off his clothes. So why are they not being charged? Why is the only person being charged the person who defended himself? But Nick is a lot more busy counter signaling this guy. I don't know who needs to hear this, but Nazi LARPing is still cringe. Low IQ people can't help themselves. They go from maybe something is up with Jews to therefore Hitler wasn't as bad as we were told to we need to dress up like Hitler. I never really understood that last conclusion. Cargo culting and LARPing is unimaginative and shows a fundamental misunderstanding of how the world. By the way, look at the more dislikes on these from his own audience. Kind of promising, kind of good. It's healthy for Nick to not just be surrounded by total fucking sycophants who will switch their opinion that they didn't even have until he told them. You know what I mean? I'm glad to see that the biggest reaction here is the downvotes. There's a viral clip of a student getting chased out of a bar by an angry mob for wearing an SS costume. I think a lot of people are just very childish and like to wear costumes. For them, it scratches an itch. It's no different from nerds that go to conventions and dress up like their favorite characters, or people who wear graphic t-shirts. See, I disagree with a lot of his framing as well. I disagree that it's LARPing. I don't think this guy thinks that he's actually like a Nazi. You know what I mean? I think it's more like humor and to get a reaction, in the same way that the "it's okay to be white" posters were about getting a reaction. I don't think this guy would try to tell anybody he's a member of the German National Socialist Party. You know what I mean? It's just like a gag, and it's funny. It is funny. I'll die on that hill. It's funny. It's funny to dress up with a perfectly tailored, like one-to-one, down to the minute details SS uniform costume. The amount of work that goes into just getting that already makes it funny. They become preoccupied with something like Hitler or the Joker, and they develop a longing to wear a costume and play pretend like they enjoy that shit. There's a maybe. Look, I don't know this guy. I don't know anything about this guy, so maybe there's some truth to that. I don't know. Jay Dyer says based. We should defend this guy regardless, you know what I mean? And then, of course, a big problem for Nick is the mixed messaging that he can't seem to make up his mind. I will say this in Nick's defense. We're in a moment of like increased Fed posting. Temperatures are still running a little bit hot after the Charlie Kirk thing, and people are frustrated. Every day we're bombarded with stories of black on white crime, migrant crime in Europe, and the leaders do nothing. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever changes. People are getting more and more frustrated, and leads to a point where it's like the only kind of release valve you have is to Fed post, basically, you know what I mean? And I think Nick is like rightfully cautious and trying to prevent that from causing problems. You know, and we had this thing with the group chat leak and these people having their lives ruined. Nick doesn't want people to ruin their lives, which is not, in all fairness to him, is not bad advice. And this guy, he ruined his life on Thursday night when he smashed that beer stein into that woman's face. He might have ruined his life even without the assault, just from getting doxxed. I don't know what this guy does for a living. I don't know anything about him. Nick doesn't want you to ruin your life, and that's obviously not retarded. Okay, there's obviously something to be said for not ruining your life. I personally prefer to just be like, this guy understood what he was doing and he did it. He made the calculation, he ran the math, and he decided to do it, and good for him. Because it pushes the Overton window and it shows the reaction, and we should defend him. We should defend his right to do that, and definitely his right to do that without getting assaulted. So, you know, there's room for nuance here that I think is mostly lacking in Nick's response. And then, of course, the problem that Nick has too is the mixed messaging. How many times have you seen Nick be like, I love Hitler, we love Hitler, and this, you know what I mean? Stuff like this.
You might have seen what I was up to. I was in the laboratory. I was at Nazi headquarters with the lead Nazi of planet Earth and the universe, Ye, the supreme leader of America.
Right. You got stuff like this, people posting stuff like this. There's definitely a little bit of a mixed message. It's kind of the same thing with the text leaks, the group chat leak. Nick is like, he's like saying straight up, like, don't do that. Don't ever make those jokes. But I'll make those jokes. It's like, I'll make those jokes for you. You don't make them. Well, other people want to do the jokes too. Other people want to have fun too, not just you. Other people want to throw up Romans too. Hey guys, the clip you just watched is from my daily stream, The Daily Cope, which I do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings at 10 a.m. on the Daily Cope YouTube channel, as well as my Rumble, Odyssey, Cozy, and other platforms. If you liked it, maybe come check out the live stream sometime. We have a good time there. I'll put the link down in the description where you can find it. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Peace.